So, today we're going to talk about a sales strategy that pretty much flips the entire script. You know, it's not about being louder or pushing your product harder. It's about creating an environment where your solution becomes the only logical choice, the inevitable one. Does this sound familiar to you? You've got a fantastic product. You know, deep down, that it can solve your customer's biggest problem. But you just keep running into this wall of skepticism, doubt, and what feels like a never ending list of objections. It is absolutely exhausting, right? Being that one single voice, trying to cut through all the noise, trying to convince someone that you're the right choice. It just feels like it's you against the world. But here's the thing. What if you didn't have to be the only one doing the convincing? And this is where things get really interesting. We're talking about a huge shift in thinking here. The goal is not to just turn up the volume on your own voice. The goal is to change the entire ecosystem that your customer is living in. So what exactly is this surround the customer strategy? Well, it's really the art of building a whole web of validation around them. Just imagine a world where no matter who your potential customer asks, their friends, industry experts, even their suppliers, every single one of them points right back to you. I mean, just think about that for a second. An orchestra. You're not some solo act on a street corner trying to get attention. No, you're the conductor of an entire orchestra of trusted voices, all playing the same beautiful song, with your customer sitting right in the middle, totally immersed. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds big and complicated, but actually it breaks down into a really practical 4-step roadmap. Let's walk through the blueprint for building your very own ecosystem. So, it all starts with step 1, mapping their influence. You've got to figure out every single person your customer listens to. Then, step 2 is to activate those voices. You turn customers, partners, and advisors into real advocates. Step 3, you orchestrate your presence, making sure your story is consistent everywhere they look. And finally, you align your entire internal team so every single person is singing from the same hymn sheet. So why on earth would you go through all this trouble? Well, because the payoff is huge. This strategy taps directly into how we as humans are wired, and it creates a competitive advantage that is just so powerful. And the results? They're incredible. I mean, when literally everyone a customer trusts validates your solution, their confidence in making that decision just skyrockets. This social proof doesn't just help a little, it dramatically shortens the sales cycle. It builds a defensive moat that your competitors just can't get across. And suddenly, price becomes way less of an issue. And this right here really says it all. A recommendation from someone you trust, from a peer, it doesn't just nudge you in the right direction. It carries 10 times the weight of any sales pitch. That is not a small improvement. That is a complete and total game changer. And the long-term advantages are just as amazing. Your sales efforts actually become scalable through network effects. Your customers become sticky. They're way less likely to leave because their whole community approved of the choice. You're not just another option anymore. You become the inevitable choice. Okay, so all that theory is great, but let's make this real. Let's make it tangible. We're going to walk through a super simple, real-world example to see exactly how you build one of these ecosystems from the ground up. All right, let's just pretend for a minute that you run a home renovation company. How would you surround a potential homeowner who's kind of thinking about maybe redoing their kitchen? Well, first you identify their circle of trust, right? Their neighbors, their real estate agent, maybe even the folks down at the local hardware store. Then you activate those people with referral programs and partnerships. You orchestrate your presence everywhere, from local newsletters to online reviews. The whole goal is to create this surround sound effect of validation coming from every direction. And just picture how this plays out for that homeowner. The very first person they ask is their neighbor across the street, who just raves about their experience. Oh, they were fantastic, you have to use them. So next, they check with their realtor, a trusted professional. And the realtor doesn't give them a list of 3 names. Nope, they give them one single name, yours. There's only one company I recommend. Then they're just casually at the hardware store picking up some paint, and they ask the guy at the counter. And what do you know? They get the exact same response. Oh yeah, we always send people to them. Top-notch work. So finally, they do their own digging online. They check out the local community Facebook group, and what do they find? An absolute avalanche of glowing photos, 5-star reviews, and happy testimonials. Every single source they trust is playing the same tune. And here's the magic. By the time you actually walk in their door for that first consultation, you're not there to sell anything. You're just there to talk about the details. The decision? Oh, that was already made for you by the very community they trust the most. You see, surround the customer isn't about brute force. It's sales judo. It's about using the weight and momentum of the customer's own network to gently and naturally tip them in your direction. So the real question you have to ask yourself is this: are you going to keep trying to be the loudest solo voice in the room, or are you ready to start conducting the orchestra?